Are you a woman in business? Are you looking to join the growing ranks of female entrepreneurs taking over the world? You've come to the right place. On Babes in Business, we'll be covering all things business from the female perspective and giving you the tools to empower you on your journey. So now, let's get ready to be empowered on Babes in Business. Hi there, welcome to Babes in Business, the show where we celebrate all women in business at any level. I am your host, Michelle Dempsey. I am your HBIC, your head babe in charge, and I am the co-owner and co-founder of MichelleDempsey.com with my business partner, Diana Frustacci in Brooklyn, New York. I am coming to you live as an empowered business owner, here to talk with a very good friend of mine who also, on her own, started her business, turned it into an immediate success overnight. And I think I'll let her introduce herself. Dr. Gena, can you introduce yourself for us?
Happily. Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. Michelle, thanks so much for having me. So I'm Dr. Gena Bofshever, and I am the owner and full-time operator of Dr. Gena Chiropractic. We are a chiropractic health and wellness center in Plantation, Florida, serving the greater Fort Lauderdale community. And you can find out more about us by visiting favoritechiropractor.com. But it's been 4 years, a little over 4 years that my practice is in South Florida now. And I've been in practice for about 7.5 years. So right out of school, right after chiropractic school, practicing in Pennsylvania for 3 years as an associate. Then I moved down to South Florida, though I swore I'd never live here, but now I love it. Worked as a coverage doc in 11 different practices down here, and then started as an independent contractor, renting space out of someone else's office, and finally took the plunge a little over a year ago and built a beautiful, brand new space, modern, state-of-the-art facility, and here we are today.
Here we are today, and before we get into all of that, I just want to let you guys know, if you want to call in, if you have something to say, if you have a question for us, if you just feel really inspired by the fact that we're both wearing red and we're such babes in business, give us a call at 888-565-1470. Now, let's go back to something you said. You've been down here in South Florida for 4 years. The reason why you have become such such a strong part of my girl gang is because we share something in common, very unique to a lot of people down here.
Are you talking about our New York roots?
I'm talking about our New York roots. And I think our New York roots is what sort of united us and then kept that bond going, because I had just moved down here. I was having a hard time sort of finding those connections that really meant something to me. And then I'm introduced to you at a party, and I'm like, you were like quick. You were on it. You were like, hey, cool, nice to meet you. When are we going to dinner?
Because
like,
I'm a
let's
New Yorker.
hang out. There was an intensity there. And I'm wondering, what role has that intensity played in your business?
Oh, geez. So I think if there's one word to adequately describe me, it would be intense. Personal, professional relationships, you name it. I don't think there's anyone that would argue that one. But there's definitely a quick pace when you're a New Yorker, and I've learned to slow it down somewhat. So people who meet me now are like, wow, I can't believe it. But if you knew me back in the day, you'd be like, wow, she did calm down a little bit.
It's funny because I know everybody says the same thing about me. It's always like, you seem so much nicer now. And it's not that I wasn't nice, but I definitely carried that sort of edge that's synonymous with, being a New Yorker, which I'm proud of. I'm not knocking that at all. But I know there's sort of I don't know if it's because of the hustle and bustle of when you live in New York and you're so used to the commute and the attitude and everybody's rushing in a hurry. There's sort of that need to, when you get an idea, to jump on it and run with it instead of sit and ponder and second guess yourself and doubt yourself. And I know I saw that in you, when you started telling me about how quickly your business went from you renting space somewhere else to taking space on your own and becoming this powerhouse in South Florida. Everybody knows who you are everywhere you go. And that came from you really putting yourself out there, balls to the wall, as I'd like to say. So this begs
Lady
the
balls.
question. This begs the question. Do New York girls do it better? And I'm talking about business, obviously. But tell me a little bit, what made you pull the trigger? Why don't you give, a little history
Sure.
about.
So when I first moved down here, I did not know anybody other than my family. And I actually have 2 chiropractors in my family. So, your family's not the best person for your business because they're not really paying me for my services. Yeah. So, not only did I have to build this business community, but I had to also build my personal relationships. I knew pretty much nobody other than my family. So I literally I was like queen of networking. People would say to me all the time, I don't know how you're doing what you're doing. And I didn't really have a choice not to, but the thing is that I enjoyed it. It comes naturally to me. I love to meet people. I prefer to be in a setting where I don't know anybody and go in and work the room isn't, I don't know the right way to say it.
That is the right way to say it for you, because you're a lot like me. For me, networking is, because I'm a mom, networking's like my time out. It's my night out. It's what I look forward to. And it's more comfortable for me to go in knowing no one, because I get to really just sell myself. And I think that's what you're getting at. Selling yourself, your self-promotion is on level all the way turned up.
So, well, but that's part of the thing is that, you know, you were saying before, you know, not to think so much, but just take action. And I'm definitely a take action, impulsive person. And I think that that's worked for me, because anytime I've tried to slow down the process and really stop and think, not that it's a bad idea to think or plan. I think that's very important. Those are very important keys for success. But to just take action, and like Tony Robbins says, massive action, because when you stop to think, what happens? You let all that fear in and the what ifs and what if I fail, what if this, what if that. And well, you know what? Those things may never even happen.
Exactly.
And if you stop, you'll never get to find out, well, what can you do? Where can you go?
It sounds like you adopted my favorite philosophy, which is the act as if philosophy. I was in my head, I didn't know if I was going to be successful. I didn't know if anybody was going to ask me to write their blogs for them. Thankfully, you did. But I acted as if I was going to be the next biggest thing. I was going to manifest all of this great work and all of these amazing clients. And lo and behold, in such a short amount of time, I have my ideal clients. Every single one of my clients who I'm working with, if you're listening, thank you. You know you're my favorite type of people to be around. I have, you know, the ability to sort of step into all these different roles, because I act as if I walk into a networking opportunity, and I act as if people there really want to meet me and want to be with me. And maybe that's a mindset that, you know, you might hear of and think, well, this girl is a little nuts. But I think you do have to be a little nuts. You have to really, to jump in head first, cold water, risk everything, take out business loans, leave your job. Everyone's looking at you like you're nuts. You got to be a little nuts.
Well, you know, the truth is that it is scary. And being a business owner, being an entrepreneur is hard. I'm not going to lie to anybody about that. At least it's been my experience. And the thing is that there's so many things I want to touch on the statements that you made there. But first and foremost, I want to say that I feel the exact same way about my practice and my business. Literally, every practice member, every patient that I get the opportunity to take care of, I love them. And it's almost like, you know, you attract what you put out there.
Absolutely.
And so we've attracted this amazing practice full of people that I want to spend my time with. So every day that I get to go into the office is fun for me, because I'm surrounded by people that I love and care about. So I want to send a big shout out to all of my patients that are listening. Also a giant shout out to you, Michelle, because I knew you personally, and I knew you in a work capacity, because HIPAA, but you are a patient of mine. You said it
Sorry,
before, so you did say it before. But and then now, as of May, you've now come on board as part of our team in the practice, and you actually write for us. And we've seen big jumps in who we're able to reach through your words. So that's been great for us. And on the flip side of, you know, not only do I get to spend my day with my patients who I love so much, but my team is extremely important to me and extremely vital to me, because when you're the business owner, there are so many different facets and different things that you have to spend your time on. And if you don't have a team helping you out, I think it's nearly impossible to hit the next level.
Diana, this one's for you. Teamwork makes the
dream work.
Yes. No,
So
but
true.
it is, you know, being your client and being your friend, it's almost like there's no difference, because you treat me outside of your office and inside of your office the same way as you treat everybody that walks through the door. And, you know,
Except for the people who cut me off on the road.
well, yeah, you don't want to be in the car with Jenna on a bad day.
I am a New Yorker.
But I think, you know, the beauty of your office, first of all, if you haven't been there and you guys are listening and you're thinking of whether you may need a chiropractor, just go to the office. Don't even speak to her. Go to the office and tell me how you feel when you leave, because there's this energy that radiates that, thank goodness you've made me part of your writing team, because now I have the ability to come in and sit. There's days where I get out of bed, you guys, and I'm dying and I'm tired. I have a child. I have a lot going on. I'm also a business owner. I'm like, I need the energy from Dr. Gena today. I don't need an adjustment. I'm just going to go sit there and work, because the energy is so amazing. And watching you interact, you come bursting out of your office like leaps and bounds, like, let's do this. Let's take on the day. And you don't carry stress in with you. And that's something that sets you apart. I'm someone, when I'm stressed out, it's written all over my face. Everybody knows. The lady in Publix knows. My husband knows. He knows to stay far, far away. you don't do that. And I think that's really been instrumental in you developing a huge following of clients who just love you. They just love to go to Dr. Gena because, never mind the way you are with children. That's a whole nother topic. Can you tell us a little bit about your work that you do with children, pregnant mothers? Because I think it's important for the world to hear that you are so multifaceted.
Sure. And this is actually something that so many people are surprised to hear about. They go, what do you mean you're a chiropractor and you take care of kids or babies? Why would they need that? Or people get like this tense reaction when they hear that. And so I have extra training in pregnancy and pediatrics. And that's one of my favorite parts of what I get to do because, really most of my practice, most people think it's neck pain and back pain. And you know what? We do great jobs to help those people. However, most of my practice is young, fit, and healthy. And it's people who want to stay that way. So just like, you exercise and you eat right and do all these things to take care of yourself. Well, we really talk about making sure that your brain and your body can effectively communicate and talk to each other. And that's where the beauty of chiropractic comes in. Because without that piece, you can only go so far. It's like unlocking your own health potential.
Yes.
So I want to touch on real quick that you were saying before about, when you come in to see me, that the energy level is always high. And one of my mentors that I used to work for in Pennsylvania taught me this, is that if you go to a Broadway show and the lead had the flu, you don't care. You paid money to see that show.
Right.
And you don't care if it's the lead or a fill-in, but you care that the show goes on. And so she taught me, no matter what, the show goes on. So I'm still human. I have bad days too. I have days without high energy, but the show goes on and there's an expectation there. And we set that expectation. Our patients know that, we strive to be the best. And so I have lots of people that have shared with me that, while they do come in for chiropractic care and regular checkups, they also come there to be around that energy. And it's not an accident. It's part of what our team does every day when we walk in the office. We kind of leave our baggage behind at the door. And then when we walk in, we open the door and say, today's a great day. And we set an intention. And then everything we do from that point forward is evolved around that mindset. And so every single thing throughout our practice, whether it's chemical-free products that we use in there and adjustments and all of the things that we do, it's also that people leave feeling healthier and happier, and that they can go on and live better quality of life. So they have better relationships, better everything.
You've helped me in tremendous ways in that area. I mean, I'm a living testament, and I don't want to sit here selling you, because I think the passion behind the way you speak sells itself. But before we go to break, why don't you tell everybody where we can find you?
Absolutely. We'd love to meet you. You could find us online at favoritechiropractor.com. My name is Dr. Gena, but it's Gena. It's not Gina, it's Gena. And my last name is Bofshever, but I go by Dr. Gena, as you could see, because my last name's a little bit of a tough one. But favoritechiropractor.com is the easiest and best way to find us.
And if you are feeling empowered yet, give us a call. We want to hear what you have to say. Any questions? Give us a call at 888-565-1470. We're off to commercial, but we'll be right back. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to Babes in Business. And let me tell you, if you're looking for a lawyer, I've got the guy for you. The show is brought to you by the Dempsey Law Firm, PA, a civil litigation boutique specializing in personal injury and wills, trust, and estate planning. The firm founder and attorney, Elliot Dempsey, serves clients across South Florida for issues ranging from auto accidents and slip and falls to your basic will or trust to protect your loved ones. We've all got loved ones, so he's the right guy to call for it. The Dempsey Law Firm can be found online at www.thedempseylaw.com or call him by phone at 954-667-8120. Tell him Michelle sent you. And don't forget, change is the law of life. Thank you for listening to Babes in Business. I am your number one babe in business, your host, Michelle Dempsey of Very Well Written, the business I founded to help other entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground with great content, strategy, branding, social media, editing, and anything in the way of words. I've got you covered, www.michelledempsey.com, or you can call me at 305-469-7500. Don't forget to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock to join me and a fellow babe in business talk all things business. Can't wait to see you there. Are you feeling empowered to be a babe in business? Just when you thought you had all the secrets, I'm getting ready to share some more. We'll see you there on Babes in Business. That's right, babes. We're back with secrets, tips, strategies, and obviously I love to talk, so I'm glad you're listening. Gena, thank you again for being here. I am your host, Michelle Dempsey, www.michelledempsey.com, a writer, strategist, speaker, friend. I am all of those things and more. Give me a call if you're interested in working with me, 305-469-7500. But let's take it back to the real star of the show, Dr. Gena Bofshever of Dr. Gena Chiropractic. We just spoke about your trigger points, what made you go big or go home, go hard, and get this business off the ground. But like you said, there's good days, there's bad days. Let's keep it real for a second. We all have those days where we're like, what am I doing? How many hours till I can be back in bed? Let's tell us a little bit about those days for you and what they look like and how you handle them. Because I think it's important, women, as women, and this is why I started this show, it's important that women understand that just like anybody else, you can have a bad day without being called a you-know-what.
Yeah.
When you are in that mood that, you've been bothered or something didn't go your way, this does not make you a witch. This makes you a human being. Say it with me, ladies. We're human. We can't be perfect. So, Gena, tell us what you do when you're having one of those days.
So really, it's more so what I do when I'm not having those days, and that's I always schedule me time. I think that that's very important because so much of what I'm spending my day doing is giving energy out, whether it's in communicating through speech or my job is physical and there's an energy exchange that happens there. So I could leave. Usually I leave at the end of the day and I'm wired. So it's hard for me to kind of calm that down.
I know you've called me during those moments.
It's usually late at night. But really what it is to have that balance, that downtime, because you can keep going up, but you got to kind of bring it back down. So, just like I'll speak to my patients about the importance of living this health and wellness lifestyle, I have downtime. I get adjusted every single week. I go to my chiropractor for checkups. I have a trainer that I see every Tuesday and Friday morning. I get massages once a week. I go for acupuncture. I take supplements. I am conscious of the food that I eat, and I try my best to meditate and breathe and slow down and be mindful. And like everyone else, it requires work and energy. So really, everything that I'm doing all the time is in preparation for those moments where I'm just not feeling it. And it starts from the moment that I wake up in the morning. Because there's days sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I know. There's that pause of like, what day is it? What do I have to do again?
Yeah.
And I know for me, having a toddler, I started my business, as you know, right before my daughter was starting camp. And so she was home with me. And it was interesting to say the least. Now, granted, when I started, I didn't have the client load that I have now. Mm-hmm. I wasn't involved in all the things that I'm involved with now. But, for me, it was really a challenge. And it's funny because when I left my full-time job to stay at home with my child, somebody said to me, you just wait and see. And at the time, she was an infant. She was easy. For me, the days, every day I wake up and I'm waking up to the sound of a baby crying, which is great. I love her. Bella, you're the best. But it's definitely a battle. And I know there's times where I neglect myself. And, for me, it's either the business or my baby or the business. It's one and the same. My baby's always going to come first. But at the end of the day, I can't go to bed until the business is handled. And you have really helped me. You've inspired me because there's not anytime you're off and I text you and say, what are you doing? You're getting a massage. You're at the beach. You're enjoying a show. You live life and you live everything that you preach to your patients. And I think that's so important because, I preach empowerment. I speak to women about empowerment, feeling empowered. You're a boss, girl. I walk around feeling that way, and I know on my bad days it's important to do that as well. So you've inspired me to really take care of myself in a different light. And when it's really bad, I just come in and get a dose of energy from you. But it's not all bad days, and let's keep it positive because we're positive people.
Well, I think that it all comes down to intention, and we do talk about being impulsive and just acting in the moment, but I have rituals and things that I do and discipline and commitment and things that I do in order to keep myself in that positive headspace. First thing I do in the morning when I wake up is I do say a small morning prayer, and I speak out loud all the things that I wish for myself. And I have a list of affirmations of all my goals and things that I want. And I just say, I am this, I have this, I do this. And my subconscious knows that this is what's going on.
Awesome. Well, we have a call from Alan. Alan, what's your question today?
Yes, this is for Dr. Gena. This is Alan Cooper from Worcester, Massachusetts, and we have to be driving through Florida and listening to the show. And I had a question on chiropractic in general. There are many different chiropractors, and I didn't know what is the difference between chiropractors and how they approach the body. Is some more physical than others? Can it be dangerous? I was just curious on Dr. Jena's approach to chiropractic in relationship to other doctors.
Great question. Thank you, Alan.
Hi, Alan. Great question. So there's a couple of questions in that one question, and we'll start with, are there different approaches? And yes, there are. The thing is that there's many, many, many different techniques, and they work in different ways. Some involve more energy, some involve more touch, some are lighter force, some are heavier force. So the key with chiropractic is to find the practitioner that you most resonate with. And I might not be the right chiropractor for everybody, just like everybody's not the right patient for me. So that would be number one, is to really, like anybody else, interview the person that's going to work with you and work on your body, because that's your own personal space. Second question I want to touch on, is it dangerous? It is not.
What sets you apart from other chiropractors? There's a machine where I saw where our chiropractor talked about is like poundage, where they take a machine and they go into a trigger point area and they like create a pound. I don't know how to express that tension that they create. And then I've been to a chiropractor where they just work on the total spine to straighten it out and go up and down the spine, hitting trigger points, to get you in line and to feel better.
Sure.
Do you have one approach against the other approach?
No, it's not that one's against the other. It's, again, there's different techniques. So some focus a little bit more on the soft tissue part. But the whole goal with chiropractic is to make sure that the connection between the brain and the body is free and clear of interference. So we all have stresses, be them in the form of chemical stress, physical stress, or emotional stress, that now are little insults to our brain and our spinal cord, our nervous system. And that's what we're working with as a chiropractor. So some techniques involve addressing the soft tissue in conjunction with your adjustment. So it's not that if someone uses this machine or this certain technique that they're any better that this chiropractor down the street that doesn't do that. Again, it all comes down to what are your specific needs, goals, and wants, and you have what's called subluxations. Where are your areas of interference that keep you from performing at your best all the time, separate from how you feel, but how you are overall functioning. And all of the techniques, be they using instrument, by hand, whatever it is, they all work.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jena. We hope you answered your question, Alan. Have a great night. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing her.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you soon, too.
You know what? It gives me such pleasure to even watch you answer that question, because when you speak, your face does this thing where it lights up, and it's just that passion. And I feel like that passion, you're a really great chiropractor. You're a really great person.
Thank you.
Do you feel there's more? Do you have like this ideal 5-year plan in your head where you're like, you know what? I know I'm taking it to the next level, and here's how.
So yeah, I think about this all the time, and it changes on a day-to-day basis. And it's kind of like all the things that I've done, and especially this last year, I can't even believe that I got to this point. Meanwhile, at the same time, these were all goals that I set for myself back in the day. And then all of a sudden you achieve them, and then it's like, okay.
I'm there too.
High five.
High five for being there. We did it. We're done.
But now, that's the thing, is that you're never done. Right? You get to, and sometimes that's really annoying, because
Ellen DeGeneres, if you're watching, your goal number 2, I already accomplished goal number 1. So give me a call.
Nice. But that's the whole thing, is that it's kind of like you get towards your next goal, or you achieve it, and then you set something else up, because, life is about excitement and getting to these highs and these great experiences and feelings. And if you just kind of plateau and stay there, you don't get to feel those. You don't get to feel those moments.
It's like a drug. It really, the energy that comes from, we went from your trigger points, pulling that trigger, doing it for the first time, dealing with the bad days, dealing with the highs and lows, keeping the momentum going, all of that, the good, the bad, and the ugly, feeds into this feeling of, I want more, I want more. And when you get a little bit of success, I talk about success in very infinite terms, because there's a different definition of success for everybody. For me, success is being able to wake up, do as I please on my own schedule, and have the ability to care for my child and make a difference in the world of the people I work for. But success, knows no bounds, and you have a little and you want more, and that's great. I think if you're not hungry, you might as well be dead, because what else is there, right?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And, it comes into play again, the things we talked about, setting goals for yourself. you asked me what my 5-year plan is. I'm still working on figuring out exactly where I want that to go. I have people asking me more north and more south, hey, open another clinic, and nothing's off the table. But for right now,
How could you split yourself in two? What are we going to do without you in Plantation all the time?
though I am the only Dr. Gena around, there's plenty of phenomenal chiropractors, and I would only ever bring someone amazing onto my team, as you can see from every team member that we've ever had.
I have to, take a minute to do a few shout outs. First, I want to shout out your team. Brittany, Sarah, Jewel, the three of you are, instrumental in keeping Dr. Gena Chiropractic what it is today. You're incredible to me,
We love
my
you.
child, my husband. We love you. Brittany, sticker. You've done a phenomenal job at handpicking people that really live up to the standards that you set and the expectations that people have of you. Next shout out I have to give is to all the women out there in business who align themselves with other women, whether they're competition or not. Competition, there is no competition. Who align themselves together, who network, who go out, who help each other get business, who recommend one another. How many times people come to me and ask me to do a service that I think somebody else could do better. I will send that service on because I believe in business karma. I know you do too.
Yeah.
You have hooked me up tremendously. I send people to you all the time. So a shout out to all those women who know about the Girl Gang. And if you know about the Girl Gang and you live in South Florida, then you know to join us at the
Yes.
Women in Power Expo on October 15th in Fort Lauderdale. Can't wait to see you there. In the meantime, join us next week on Babes in Business. Like our Facebook page, Babes in Business, WNN, or email me, Michelle@michelledempsey.com. We had a blast. Keep it successful, keep it sassy, keep it smart, and keep being a babe in business.
Thanks for having me.
Like they say, all good things must come to an end. But the good news is we'll be back next week with more tips, more secrets, and more strategies to empower you on your business babe journey. Did you like something you heard today, or would you like to join us on the show? Please contact me now at 305-469-7500 or visit me on the web at www.michelledempsey.com. I look forward to connecting with you and helping you become a babe in business.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management,